In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, you Gumpers.
Hola, bon dia, alegria. Munson here with a Good Morning Portugal show, live stream and podcast. Ooh, eyebrows need a little bit of a comb this morning. Neglected to take care of that earlier on. How are you this morning? Do let me know. Part 2 of Filomena Pascual's amazing interview with the wonderful Genuino Madruga, the only Portuguese man to have sailed around the world twice solo. We saw part 1 of that interview yesterday. We have part 2 for you today. In a little while. That's before we get into the rock and roll in earnest. We've got Mac and Alan with us. Are they Mac and Alan or are they Alan and Mac? Mac and Alan present the Silver Coast Beer Festival. We'll be talking about the beer festival that's coming up this weekend, 1st and 2nd of December, with beer and food and music, lots of live music. So we'll talk to Joe Mac and Richard Allen, hopefully both of them. Later on in the show today. If you're expecting Bruce Joffe, he's in Spain and unavailable today, but we'll talk to Bruce in due course. He rather liked my Facebook post, Are we living in an epoch-defining time? And he wants to pick up and run with that when he returns. So have a great time, Bruce and Russ and the dogs over there in Spain, and we'll see you soon. This was the meme that was put up yesterday that we didn't really go into. Good morning, no such thing. That's especially for you if you're not a morning person, but you're here anyway. That takes an extra effort to be here on the Good Morning Portugal show, I think, and watching, even if you're not a morning person. I'm not really sure if I'm a morning person, it's just a habit, basically. And talking of habits, a great habit suggested yesterday by Coach Turner to go for 30 minutes of exercise every day, if you're not already doing so, and maybe do around 3,000 steps. So late last night, went for a walk from home, where I've got into the habit of walking around the block with the dogs. I thought I'd go right down to the beach, and I've done that a couple of times in the last couple of months. And I thought, well, it's all in the mind, isn't it? It's like, oh, it's too far. It's going to take too long. It's going to be too tiring. Rah, 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 rah. You know how the monkey mind works and how it always comes up with a problem for every solution. Well, I just got on with it. Just put my shoes on, got the dogs, got wrapped up warm, and walked on a big circuit down to town, through town, around, across the railway line, over onto the beach, around the beach, past Palmera to see if they'll be open for the meetup tomorrow. Still don't know about that. For those of you who want to know and who are coming tomorrow to the meetup, we will. If Palmera has reopened by tomorrow, the 29th of November, we'll be there. Otherwise, we'll find somewhere else in the bay tomorrow. And we'll see you for the meetup, as usual, between 1 and 3, a venue to be announced. Okay, where was I going with all of that? So saying good morning to James, slow like honey. Not that maybe he does like honey, but thank you, Fiona Apple, who we discovered yesterday, which actually has prompted me another question from me. Is James and I were exchanging links of music by Fiona Apple yesterday. Interesting, reminded me a lot of Alanis Morissette, I have to say. And I know comparisons are odious. Odians are comparisons as well, but comparisons can be odious, can't they? But it's how the mind works, isn't it? It likes to compare and contrast and make trouble generally. But yeah, she's probably from whom Alanis Morissette took her cue. I don't know. You said 90s, didn't you, James? And we were exchanging music. We'll talk a whole lot more about music this morning when Joe Mac and Richard Allen join us. And I would like to know what you're listening to at the moment. I say at the moment, not right now in this moment, Clever Dickie. I mean, around this time, at this time in your life, having moved to Portugal, have your musical tastes changed? What is getting heavy rotation? The biggest tune for me at the moment is definitely Burden struggled to. I should know the name of it. I listen to it about 2 or 3 times every day and have done for the last couple of weeks, driving the family mad with that. Burden reimagined, remixed, reproduced by the guy who did the Culture Club tunes, whose name escapes me right now, but he produced Culture Club in the 80s, and he's gone on to be quite the amazing producer. Without wanting to sound patronizing, more kind of grown up, as you might imagine. He's producing music in the 80s, and he's still producing music now, and he produces the most delightful arrangements and orchestrations of great tunes like Burden by Lois Levin. That's my pick of the moment, Lois Levin. What's yours? What are you listening to? Old music, new music? Do let us know in the chat. I know we've got quite a few music fans within Gumperdom here. Tomorrow we march upon Gumperdom. 3 wise men of the Gumpocalypse have been in already this morning, getting that toilet seat nice and warm for us. Baddies here as well, as is Anna and Paul Richards. Good morning. Warm up the streets. I'm on my way. I'm coming north, says Paul. So maybe see you tomorrow. Yes, that's right. We've got other visitors from the Algarve tomorrow as well. So see you tomorrow at the meetup. Owen saying bon di Algria, everyone. Owen is my guest on Thursday. With some good news, a new publication, which many Gumpers will be glad to see as well and hear about on Thursday morning. I'll keep our powder dry and our noses clean for the time. I've just realized what that phrase might mean. Keep your nose clean and your powder dry. That's not some awful drug reference, is it? Is it more to do with gunpowder? I'm hoping so, having used it so many times in my life and not really made that connection before. Bon dia, one and all, from João de Norte as well. How are you doing, João? See you tonight for the Portugal Club. Very interesting Portugal Club speaker tonight at 8:30. The Portugal Club meets every Tuesday evening at 8 o'clock. For those people who, the emphasis has shifted. It used to be people who were moving to Portugal and were in the United States. I was going to say stuck in the United States. I don't mean it badly. But for those of you who felt like you were stuck in the United States and ready to move to Portugal, it was a really nice lifeline and a roaring fire around which we could keep warm and snug and cozy and keep our Portugal dreams alight every week at 8 o'clock. Most of those people have actually moved here now, although there is room for people who want to get some good focused attention on a Tuesday evening, check in, deal with any challenges, celebrate any milestones. We do that at the Portugal Club at 8 o'clock every week. And at 8:30, we have a speaker. It might be a speaker to do with our Expat Angels project. It might be to do with the Portugal Immigrant Network. It might be a wildcard night where we just speak to an extraordinary expat. We have all sorts of themes at 8:30 on a Tuesday evening. I think I'm going to throw it open this evening. We've got our very own Jason Hall coming to talk to us about political parties for expats, foreigners, immigrants. Which do you think, which party would represent or be most sensitive to the needs and aspirations of the expat, foreigner, immigrant class here in Portugal? We'll talk about that. And we might even talk about starting one and what that takes, given that there is a need, I think, for a greater understanding. And that's what I've been trying to do with my Portugal Immigrant Network, is create greater connections between our Portuguese hosts, the native indigenous people of this country who welcome us so heartily and warmly, and create better connections. Because let's face it, 1 in 10 people in Portugal, if it's not already the numbers, if those aren't already the numbers, that will be happening soon. 1 in 10 people will have moved here in recent times, will be an immigrant, a foreigner, or expat. And I think that relationship needs care. It's best not to be looking the other way and hoping for the best. I think that relationship needs facilitation, care, and understanding, conversations to increase greater understanding, not just between us and the Portuguese, of course, but between us and our other migrant communities as well. I don't know a lot about the Swedish people, Anna. I know a little bit more about Icelandic people, having hung out with Buddy for a bit, but let's chat with each other, shall we, in that setting of the Portugal Immigrant Network. And we've certainly got an opportunity to do that this evening with Jason Hall, because as well, and I've got something to share with you, this is happening this morning. This is another reason why I think we need to talk to each other. We need to be understood and understand better our Portuguese hosts as well as each other in different migrant communities. I saw this last night. This is a gathering at Ancião. You've heard Ancião being mentioned by Matty. That's where his pain management clinic is. And Gary Austin will be over that way this morning to make his feelings, and others will be there making their feelings known about the mining situation, the mining of lithium. I don't think it's only lithium. I'm not sure. It's a mineral exploration. That's what it is. So in Portuguese, dizer now in big red capital letters, exploração mineira. Mineira, I beg your pardon, juntas de anos à Câmara Municipal de Ancião, no dia 28 de novembro, às 11 horas, podemos limpar as nossas janelas, mas não os nossos pulmões. Now, that last line is the key to why people are concerned. Say no to the mineral exploration. Join us at Ancião Town Hall on November the 28th at 11 a.m. We can clean our windows, but not our lungs. So people concerned about possible mineral exploration in that part of central Portugal around Alvázora. You will recall where there were some fires earlier on this year. Yeah, that's right. And now there's mineral exploration. So good luck to those who are making their feelings felt. It will be a theme that will be picked up tonight at 8:30 in our conversation as well, because we need to find out which political parties represent people best in that regard when it comes to standing up against big mining interests, or if not standing up against them, to work in partnership. These relationships tend to get to be a little bit railroady, don't they? Where you just have to put up with what's happening rather than there being any consultation. So we'll talk about that more tonight at 8:30. Do let me know. Drop me a line if you'd like to be involved in that conversation. Gary Mills, bon dia all. Gary, good morning to you. I have posted up your sand racing video to the YouTube channel, Good Morning Portugal YouTube channel, not the Portugal News and Information one, although it might go there as well, Gary. Thank you very much for that. And it will also go into GMP VIP in the sports section, because the sports sections are going pretty nicely as well. If I have a quick look at that over at GMP VIP, we have listings for football, rugby, beach rugby, croquet, of course, golf, netball, rounders, and surfing and swimming, and I will be adding to that later on today. Oh, I've got a few new notifications over there at GMP VIP. Portuguese babies' names, thank you. And suburban trains in Lisbon area with maps and diagrams. Thank you very much. And continuing conversation from James Holly over there if you want to join us at gmpvip.com, or if you already are a member but you've forgotten, why don't you log in again and have a look at what's going on over there. Hooah! Says Slug is slow like honey, James, of course, and thank you, Fiona Apple. All right, so yeah, that conversation tonight at 8:30. Thank you, Gary Mills, for your sand racing video, which is up, will be up there in the sports section of GMP VIP, joining that treasury. Jim White, thank you for becoming a GMP VIP and your support just recently. Thank you very much. I haven't had a chance to say thank you very much to you, but I have now. So cheers, Jim. Much appreciated. Bon dia a todos. And CCR was stuck in Lodi again. I have no idea what that means. I'm going to have to scroll back up to the top of the comments and see what's going on. Don't forget, we've got that second part of the conversation between Filomena Pascual and Genuino Madruga. And ahead of that, there's a lovely, lovely, lovely illustration here, or an image of the inscription inside the book. Here's the book, and that's Genuino Madruga's book, his autobiography, O Mundo que eu vi. Is that the world I've seen? What a lovely idea to write about his journey. And if you go and see him in Açores, which Filomena did, I've got a really big special news to add to this as well. If you go to Fayal and see Genuino over there, you can get your book signed. Look at that. The ink is still fresh in Horta, 25th of November. To Filomena. Look at that, an inscription there, or the big hug, is it? Com grande abraço deste Portuguese dos... I don't know what that... I can't read that last bit, but perhaps Filomena, who's here as well this morning, will translate. And Filomena, would you like to disclose the fabulous news you shared with me last night in the comments? That would be wonderful, and I'll come back to that. It looks fabulous. I do like going to random comments, I have to say. I'll take that one. Thank you very much. Are we looking fabulous this morning, Peter? Let's go to the start of the comments, shall we? Before we welcome Joe and Richard onto the show. Actually, do they have the link for doing so? Let me just have a quick look on Facebook in the chat and make sure that they've got it. Yeah, I'm just going to send them the link now, and we'll see him in about 15 minutes or so. Perfect. Okay, back to your comments then in the chat. Thank you for being here this morning. Bon dia, Gumpers. Feliz terça todos from James and from the coach. Bon dia to you, James, by the way. Bon dia, all you lovely Gumpers. Well, I've now worked out what is wrong with my heel. Oh, it seems I have bursitis, and anything with an itis is an inflammation, isn't it? So he's got an inflammation of his bursa, whatever that is, and basically have to rest it for 4 weeks. So no running, walking in cushion shoes only, and body weight gym exercises. Frustrating, but luckily not serious. Good morning, coach. Here he is. Thunder Duck's in as well. Good morning, coach. I haven't been allowed in the gym since the day I dropped my chili dog on the treadmill. Yes, that could be quite the mess, could it not? God, score tip of the day then. To add to the 30 minutes walking each day, forgot that for T-Duck. To add to the 30 minutes walking each day, spend 5 minutes twice a week doing leg work. Squats, step-ups or lunges will all help maintain and improve your leg strength. Very good. Try to build up to 3 sets of 10 repetitions and gradually increase the difficulty. Thank you for that, Coach Turner. I've been taking your advice. Who else has been? Let us know in the chat, if you will. Bondi Alegria Gumpers then from T-Duck at 8:17 with a deep thought. I asked the kids yesterday who Zeus was. Listening, that's another new track I was listening to. Hard Work, Children of Zeus, with a kind of reggae vibe to it. So I said to the kids, who's Zeus? And they knew, or my eldest knew anyway. And we had the comparison with Zeus, Thor, and Jupiter, the connection there with the mythical connections. And I said, there's also Dr. Zeus, isn't there, kids? Mrs. M didn't think that was so funny or helpful to the children. Here he is, though, this morning. A complete coincidence, I have to say. Theodore Zeus Geisel was an American children's author and cartoonist. Of course, Green Eggs and Ham. And Things 1 and 2, right? What else do we know from Dr. Zeus? Unless someone like you cares a whole lot, cares a whole lot, nothing's going to get better. No, it's not. Oh, he does everything in rhymes. Unless someone like you cares a whole lot, nothing's going to get better. No, it's not. So someone like you, does that mean we need friends to help us in our aims in life? 8:30 tonight. See you there, talking about Portuguese politics and which political party will serve the interests of expats, foreigners, and immigrants best, and increase understanding between our hosts and ourselves. Tonight, 8:30. Portuguese saying of the day from T-Duck. Oh, I must transfer the one from yesterday and this one over to GMP VIP. Oh, seguro moró de velho. The safe man died old. Well, yes, quite possibly. Oh, excellent dad jokes as well. I'll have to share those with our musicians this morning, especially the first one. That's fantastic. And a bonus deep thought. This is good, isn't it? Ahead of Richard and Joe joining us this morning. Bonus deep thought. Talking about music is like dancing about architecture. Yeah, I'm guilty as charged this morning. What else can we do apart from point you in the direction of the music and go and enjoy it for yourselves? They want people there this weekend. It's important that people turn up. Otherwise, these things won't happen. The Silver Coast Beer Festival, Friday and Saturday, 1st and 2nd of December. That is right, isn't it? And let me just make sure that is correct. The first is this Friday. Yes, that's right. Thelonious Sphere Monk. Well, his parents had a pretty wild imagination, unless that he wasn't christened Thelonious. Sphere Monk was an American jazz pianist and composer. The world of jazz has brought us some incredibly interesting people. Would you not agree? And I'll try that. I'll run that deep thought past our guest this morning. Baddy was in earlier on at 8:30, just after start time. Bondi Alegria and the Swede in Portugal. Morning to you, Baddy. Tell us about your My Name in Icelandic group page as well, Baddy, a new project for you. Tell us a bit more about that, if you will. Feel free. Always happy to support people's projects here, Gumper projects. Tell us about them. Don't think you're spamming us. I know the Gumpers are a respectful lot, and I have no problem with people mentioning their projects. I don't know if you're able to actually post links. It's not me that's stopping that. It's YouTube and the streaming software possibly, but we can make that happen. We can carry on the conversation at GMP VIP. Let us know about what's going on for you in your work life, in your personal life, your hobbies, whatever. Do let us know. Bon dia alegria from a cloudy morning in VRSA. Sweden, Portugal, Anna says, and have you got one of the biggest Principios, one of the biggest nativity scenes about to open there? Anna, I haven't had any photos from you for a while. That's not a complaint, by the way, but always happy to receive your photographs and images from VRSA. Paul Richards is on his way then to the Silver Coast. Joao is in, Owen's in, and such a very different energy and styling. I can't even make the association between Alanis Morissette and Fiona Apple. My comparison there is the slightly kind of worldliness of those young ladies. Then I don't think they could be described as who me? So innocent. I think their lyrics and approach, to me anyway, seem a little bit more worldly wise and veering on the cynical. Certainly that's Alanis's bag, isn't it? And their voices. It was mainly their voices, actually. I was thinking, who does this Fiona Apple remind me of? And it was that Alanis kind of. Are they where? I don't know where they're from in the States, but they've got that almost the fry going on, haven't they? As well, I can hear them when they're talking in real life, just being slightly world weary. I'm mostly listening to The Dead these days, but also Kruder and Dorfmeister, The Police, Live, and Talking Heads. I'm definitely getting a vibe there. T-Duck, Grateful Dead, of course. When you're a Deadhead, you just refer simply to them as The Dead. He's not sort of having seances at home and listening generally to the Dead. That would be the Grateful Dead, unless I'm wrong. But good morning to you, Jim White. Bon dia todos. Lots of love to you up there in Porto. I don't know what this is. CCR was, I still don't know that. Having gone back over the comments, I still have no further context for understanding that comment. The Police Live are very different than their albums, very punk. I only recently discovered this. So they tidied it up, did they? And got a more highly produced for the albums. Outlandos, D'Amour, Regatta de Blanc, is it? What else? What were their other albums? I think those are the ones you're referring to, right? Ghost in the Machine, that sort of thing. They got them slicker and slicker, I think, didn't they, as their vinyl careers went on. Ian Turner from Joao. Sorry to hear about your bursitis. Might I suggest a pair of Oofos sandals? Extremely helpful when I've had bouts of plantar fasciitis. Wow. And the information you get on this show. Thanks, Joao Denort, for that. Bon dia todos from Philomena. And smash that button. Smash that like button. Not any old button. The like button, says T-Duck. Philomena, I don't know if you've shared your news yet. Looking forward to seeing you on the next Philomena Friday, which I believe is the 8th of December, with a very special guest. Guess who it is? The beer party. What? And the after show party. I don't understand what you guys are talking about there. I fear I may have missed something quite important. Gary, good morning to you. Thanks for that, says Coach Turner to you, Joao Denort. All I have to do is slightly raise my heel in my shoes. Oh, hello, sailor. So a little insert should help. Also wearing shoes that don't put pressure on the heel as well. Thanks, Carl. I don't know how you juggle it all. Well, I can send you a video. Or would you rather not? Get some handmade shoes when you're here in Portugal, Ian Turner. That's a good idea. Morning, Pete. And solar life to Philomena. You're on holiday. Enjoy it. Don't worry about the lesson today. It looks fabulous. There we go. We have a clarification on what looks fabulous. That would be Philomena's videos and images coming from the Azores, which I will stitch together. Talking about juggling it all, we'll get those stitched together as well as the full length interview. Actually, we better get on with part 2 of the interview before Joe and Richard get here. Oh, CCR, Creedence Clearwater Revival, aren't they? Isn't Clearwater a place in Florida? Creedence might be somewhere else in America. Thank you for your education there, guys. Lodi, a city in California. Nothing to do with Florida then. Getting more. I wish I hadn't asked now. Bon dia, vossas caras message from Mr. S as well. Anyone else who I haven't said hello to? Yes, Carpe Diem. Bon dia from Tor near Caldash this morning. How are you doing, Carpe Diem? Good to see you here. And Joe Mac, just about to have my coffee, and then he'll be joining us. So this seems like a good time. I'll come back to a few more of those comments in a little while. this seems like a good time to play part 2 of the interview. Filomena Pascual in conversation with Genuino Madruga.
People arrive on this port and I look to these people, So maybe one day, if I have a boat, I want to know also what is the Caribbeans. Many other places in the world, because the people arrive here from all over the world. We are the number 4. This port here, Horta, is number 4 in the world with yachts. On the season, it starts on April. The port is full with yachts from all nationalities, with people from all over the world. So I saw that long time ago, madam. So I keep that on mind. And I maybe one day.
And so you did.
Yes, of course. This was before I went to the army. And I was getting the money. It was schools on that time. Getting the money and so until 1999, madam. Not possible before. But when I got my boat, I was very happy.
And by the way, the name of the boat is Hemingway.
It's Hemingway, yeah. If you don't know the Old Man and the Sea,
yes,
a very special book. It was indeed a very special book, even for me. Just get that book, offer your book to your friends, to your children, because it's indeed a very special book, The Old Man and the Sea. Yeah. And by the way, I already have my book.
Oh, yeah.
What? I also have my book with my memories, things I have seen around the world, and my life is there.
Very good. Yeah. Congratulations. Well, Mr. Genuino, it was a pleasure for us, and we were very well received in Mr. Genuino's restaurant. The food was excellent. Tuna is amazing. Well, and so we hope to meet you here in Fayal and at the restaurant of Genuino. Okay, so bye and see you soon here.
Until next time.
Yeah.
How about that? Absolutely wonderful. I'll stitch those 2 bits together and we'll stick them up on the YouTube channel. And guess what? He'll be joining us as well live on the show on the 8th of December. Senor Genuino Madruga will be joining us live from the Açores. And if only we could be eating some of that tuna Filomena talked about as well. I imagine the tuna in Açores is very, very good and cooked in his special restaurant, which doubles as a museum and a celebration of his life and times as well. How wonderful to go there and sit with him and have dinner in his restaurant, talking about his journeys and adventures around the world, sailing solo twice around the world. The only Portuguese person to do so. Fantastic. Let's go back to a few more of your comments then. Thank you, Filomena. And no, Pete, she's not on holiday. She's working again, back behind her desk. She doesn't mess about. Incredible. So Filomena's back in the country and working again, and she'll be with us for a Filomena Friday with a new jingle as well. The jingle's awesome. This is the old jingle,
Filomena Friday,
which was pretty good. Don't worry, anyone who's in a half slumber, it's not Friday, but that has been remixed quite brilliantly by T-Duck and Owen. So we'll debut that as well on the 8th of December. That to look forward to. Okay, so a few things getting cleared up in the chat here. Sometimes I ask questions and then get very confused with some of the answers that I receive. I'm using a Portuguese keyboard today. That's not going to help either. That's been switched to English, so the keys aren't what they say they are. It happens, doesn't it? And you can switch it in software, can't you? As well as changing your keyboard. I still haven't got my head around that. Maybe we do that next time you're on, Filomena. Is talking about how to get the accents going on the keyboard. Brilliant. Yep, the great news, says Filomena, Mr. Genuino will be with us on the 8th of December. And his birthday is the 9th of December. Let's really give him a lovely experience of the Good Morning Portugal club here and be a fan club for him on that Friday ahead of his wonderful birthday on the 9th. Fantastic. Although we mustn't wish him happy birthday. It's unlucky to do so, isn't it? How do we manage that, Philomena? How do we make reference to his birthday without wishing him a happy birthday? Because I think it's bad luck to do that here in Portugal. Is it not? And Thelonious Sphere Monk was his born name. Wow, his parents must have been pretty far out as well, man. Incredible. When I think of Alanis, I hear loud, energetic complaints. When I think of Fiona, I hear low, deep, sexy whispering. Ooh, matron. Okay, fair enough. I'm gonna have to re-listen, aren't I? And that sounds like a good idea. A good invitation to do so there, James. Thank you. You're right about Alanis for sure. Although you know she has her charms as well, does she not? And is that perhaps there's more to Alanis than loud, energetic complaining, I'm sure. Although you know she did make a bit of a career based on that. So the Icelandic name. The chances are slimmer to find your complete namesake. I think this is quite the Icelandic in-joke as well, isn't it, Buddy? But can us other non-Icelandic people take part in this as well? You know, the Icelandic equivalent of muggles, other people not from Iceland. Chances are slimmer to find your complete namesake with this new project of Baddies. Everyone has a name. This is for the print-on-demand business and also in the hospitality space. Possibilities are endless. When you say in the hospitality space and the possibilities are endless, does that mean you'll be inviting people with the same name to parties in Iceland? Because some wag did that, didn't they? When I was at school a long time ago, my English teacher, who was a terrifying man, also used to come out with the occasional interesting fact. And one of them was that he invited, he knew of somebody who invited loads of people whose name ended in bottom, I think it was, like Ramsbottom, Rowbottom, Botham, anything to do with Botham and Bottom in England. And he invited them all to a party, and they didn't know why they were going there. And they only found out through conversation that all their names ended in bottom. Today, we're off to scale, aren't we, with useful and interesting and valuable life information. You're welcome. I sent a picture, you so did, of the invite to Portugal's biggest nativity scene here in VRSA just now. Thank you very much. Was that a coincidence? Another coincidence. Centro Cultural Antonio Alejo in Villarreal, Santo-Antonio. So from the 1st then, Friday's an important day, not only the beer festival, only the Silver Coast Beer Festival, but the Presepio Gigante in VRSA as well. Let's just take your comment off the screen for a moment there, and we'll see what else is being said. 1st of December then to the 7th of January, as you might expect, right through to just a day after 12th night, from 10 in the morning till 1 in the afternoon, and from 2:30. They stop for lunch and maybe to reset some of the exhibits. I don't know. Maybe the exhibits need feeding too, or some of the, maybe Santa needs feeding there, and the elves, because they eat too, you know. A lot of carrots, I think, and sherry is so maybe Santa will be training with carrots and sherry. It might be different, of course, in Portugal. The massive Presepio, in case you didn't know what that was, it is the nativity scene. Now, I thought there was a pretty good nativity scene in Panela in central Portugal. It's really lovely. It's a walk up into the castle at Panela, and a fantastic. Is that happening this year, Philomena? Does it happen every year? The Presepio at Panela. Looks like the one in VRSA might be even bigger. Very interesting. That is the point. Oh, my bad. Apparently, that is the point. It is for you to find your Icelandic namesake. It isn't just for Icelanders. Okay, can we have a demonstration of that then? Are any Munsons or João de Norts or T-Ducks up there in Iceland? Give us an example of that, if you will, please, buddy. On the Mac. I just hold the vowel key down. Oh, I thought you were talking about Joe Mac for a minute. He'll be joining us soon, hopefully. On the Mac, I just hold the vowel key down, then choose from the menu of accent marks that show up. Yes, some good Mac bragging rights there. I think probably the Mac is superior in that. Well, Mac owners will have you believe that everything is superior about the Mac. And that certainly sounds like a lot easier way of doing accents than Windows, but I remain open to be schooled and educated about that. Sexy whisperings, aggressive complaints. Where did we get to? Oh, Lodi is the name of a track and is a city in California. And that's a Creedence Clearwater Revival track. there. And that relates to being stuck in the USA, stuck in Lodi again. Maybe when they were on tour, they got stuck there. Where did we get to? We started talking about parties, didn't we, as well? The after show party is the best kind of political party. I've got you now. Yes, so the Icelandic namesake thing is for foreigners. Give us an example, if you will. And I should say early Alanis. She did mature and evolve, like most of us, I hope. Speak for yourself. And I did and do like her and her music, just a very different sound and style to Fiona Tamaya. I'm happy to go with that. I don't know a lot about... I used to play the cassette of Alanis's standout album, the One Hand in My Pocket and doing naughty things in the cinema. That album I used to have on cassette and played that a lot. That was popular in my household at the time. And Fiona Apple is new to me, so I've got some catching up to do. I do not doubt for one moment that is the case and that they are very different. I get that a lot. I'm interested in jazz. People say they don't like jazz. They might say, yeah, I do like a bit of jazz, Kenny Ball and his jazzmen, that sort of thing. It is difficult when you don't know a lot about a genre, as I think we might find out from Richard and Joe as well. Richard's first up. He'll be joining us in just a moment to talk about the beer festival and music and food, of course, as well. Okay, so here's an example of how the Icelandic name idea works. Gordon James Ramsey is son of Helen and Gordon Goody Jakob Helunason Gaddason. Okay, so it's how to trace your Icelandic ancestry. Jagged Little Pill, that's the name of that album. Thank you very much for that. The JLP LP, of course. Thank you so much. And thank you, Buddy, for that illustration of your project over there in Iceland. Let's give him a nice big round of applause because we've got Richard Allen joining us now. Rock and roll at 8 minutes past 9 in the morning. How is this for you, Richard?
It's pretty tiring this morning. I've got to be honest. I've looked better. It's been my birthday this weekend, Carl, and I've had a good time since Friday.
I got a message on my Facebook Messenger simply saying "long and awesome," and I thought, "Oh, what's this now?" And it was a description of your birthday. It's a description of your birthday festivities, not something else. I get those messages as well. So you've had a good time. You sound like you had a good time.
Amazing time, actually, with a lot of people over the 3 days. You can tell my voice is quite hoarse. Yes. Yeah, it's Friday, Saturday and Sunday. I'll take the opportunity, if you don't mind, to thank everybody for the birthday wishes and everybody who helped me celebrate. I'm not very happy with them at the minute, but it was a good time.
In those immortal words, the last time we met, sadly, was at the funeral of Chris Price, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I imagine you uttered those immortal words. I shouldn't have another one. You probably said that a few times over the weekend as well, didn't you?
I think my problem was I should have said those words. I didn't say those words. I think that's probably what the problem was. But definitely had a drink to Chris. That was 100%.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, absolutely. Legend lost and well remembered as often as we possibly can, drinking local wine here that he made at Cortain. Were you celebrating in Lisbon, did I see? Was that a good idea?
Yeah, well, part of it was, we started in Lisbon and finished in Capilira, so that wasn't a bad trip, really, I suppose.
Oh, nicely done. Capilira brings us back full circle to this weekend's festivities, doesn't it? And are you singing this weekend?
I am, actually.
Oh, my word. Okay. Lots of local honey, maybe?
Yeah, I think I'll be okay by, yes. I think we're on Saturday afternoon. So, a bit of time to recover between now and then, all given the busy day today. But, yeah, no problem.
Yeah. Okay. Good. You're such a pro. I'm not sure if Joe is joining us this morning, but hopefully he is. This is the Mac and Allen promotion this weekend. Of course, you are the Richard Allen. He is the Joe Mac, and it is the Silver Coast Beer Festival. Oh, Joe Mac's here as well. That's fantastic. We'll chat with him. Let's bring him onto the screen in just a moment as well. Yay, Joe! Actually, let's bring him onto the screen now. We'll come back to the roster. Morning to you, Joe Mac.
Hello, gentlemen. Good morning.
Hey, Joe. Good morning to you. How are you at this early hour? I know you prefer, I think, probably a later hour of the day, Joe.
Later is better, but I'm here, so I'm going to do my best to be absolutely present.
Top man. Thank you very much for that. Now, what a great idea. This is the latest in a long line of brilliant presentations from you both. A lot of them up at Arcasane Capaliera, the
Yes.
wonderful venue up there that has been so welcoming to the Communities Unite initiative. This is a real, what would you call it? A climax upon recent gigs. You've turned it from a gig with food, a barbecue, into a full-on beer festival. Who's responsible for that? Who can answer that question?
I think
we both kind of put a lot of work into this. You know, I knew that you know, I'm from California originally, so and I worked for years in the festival circuit, running stages. So I've probably set up, I don't know, 30 or 40 beer festivals over my day, but not at this level, not at the administrative level, but at the tech level. So it just seemed like that was an obvious gap in the culture scene here, is something like a beer festival. I mean, I always thought that they were the most fun little neighborhood festivals. So
yeah, absolutely brilliant. And the latest in a long line of brilliant gigs from Communities Unite. We should talk about that. I'll come back to you, Richard, for that, because we spoke, didn't we? And I wrote an article in the Portugal Resident about Communities Unite, because it's such a good idea. It was a way to bring together local Portuguese people with expat, foreigner, immigrant community over music, or dancing and listening to music and eating food. Tell us a bit more about that, Richard.
Yeah, well, I think that's probably where this whole thing started. I originally met Joe at the Duke Joint, which is a sort of free musical experience thing that people can just join in, come up and play. And that started down the road, really, from where I live in Obidos, just outside Obidos. And then I met Joe there, and then I don't really know. The rest of it seems a bit of a blur. I don't know what Joe will say, but I think we did our first Communities Unite in February this year. It seems like about 2 years ago, but it was this year. It was incredibly well attended when we didn't expect many people at start, and really pinnacled through the summer when we had the Peakles, a Beatles tribute band on, and we had about 450 to that particular event. Beautiful sunny day. And since then, it's just got better and better. And even over the winter, even the last one we did, we're still 200 people, you know, at these events. And it's wonderful. And then, like Joe says, he's run on the technical side beer festivals before. I've actually ran a beer festival for 10 years back in the UK. And this year, what happened was Joe brought his band over. I did the same. So while running it, we both played there. And I think then really the idea just sort of came out to say, well, we should do this in Portugal. Why don't we do this where we are? It's a different format. We've got producers, different brewers, artisan brewers. Joe will tell you about the arts and crafts and everything, but we've got 5 different beer providers. It's over 2 days. There's going to be lots of music, lots of arts, crafts, things like that, and lots of food. So I don't know if we're mad. I'm not really sure. I don't know if we'll...
Ambitious, I think, is the word, Rich.
Joe just keep correcting me on these words. We're ambitious. That's exactly what we are. And we're having fun doing it. It's pretty stressful from time to time on the first thing that you do, because of course you don't know how many people are actually going to turn up. So,
that's right.
And that's what it's all about for us. We need to just get the word out as much as we can, and hopefully this will help too, Carl. And you've always been very helpful.
Yeah, and that's the message I want to send out to people. It's like, it's no good saying, "Oh, that looks good," and not going. For these events to take off and to be regular things in our country, in our neighborhood, at any level, you have to go to them. You have to support them, don't you? And let's give you more reasons why you should support this amazing gig, and come back to Joe, as you said, Richard, on what's available. It's not just the music. I think we'll come back.
Let me say this about this thing about us being mad, is that I don't think as far as a business model, ours is particularly great, because I realized over the past couple days that we've got 10 bands on this festival over 2 days. And as you know, one of our big points of Communities Unite is that we make sure if you work with us, you get what you deserve. We try to treat everybody with the exact same level of respect. Never try to lowball or shortchange anybody, just so that we can continue to have great success and continue to make great communities with bands and musicians and promoters and everybody. That being said, to cover the expense of all of our music, we're going to need about 350 people each day.
Yep.
And that's just to break even on the music side of things. So, you know, again, the business model isn't fantastic, but the quality of the festival, I think, it is going to be fantastic. I mean, that's the point. I mean, we kind of decided, what is it about? It's not really about making money. It's about throwing the best beer festival that we can.
Yes.
And to me, that means, you know, we've got 2 stages. We've got things going on all day, all night. We've got a DJ at the end of the night for the late night crowd. Of course, we've got the artisanal Christmas market. We've got 3 food carts, so that will be really fun. I'm looking forward to. It's another thing I've been missing since I've been in the Silver Coast, is kind of a food cart culture. Yes. And I know Pedro was starting that over at Pit Stop, but since Pit Stop is not, you know, really functioning like it was, I think it's nice to be able to have a little home for this food cart culture, at least for the weekend.
Absolutely. Well, for those of you who didn't get a chance to try the food of Soul Finesse, that's Bev and Dan. You can do that this weekend, because they're going to be. I mean, that's the horrible news, isn't it, about Pit Stop? It doesn't look like it's going to be functioning as it was. And Soul Finesse, I know for sure, were without a home as a result. Thankfully, they have a home this Friday and Saturday, so you can try their excellent food, which I have and greatly enjoyed. Tell us about Bar Vista Pizza. Are those the guys that are on the Bar Vista that looks out to the Atlantic?
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Wood-fired pizza then as well.
Fired pizza. So looking forward to that. They actually, when I first went to Pit Stop, they were there. And yeah, really like the people, really like the pizza. So that'll be a fun one.
And Rex Press curry, curry too.
Curry. We'll see how that works out. We're gonna leave that one a bit ambiguous, I think, for the moment.
Right, fair enough. And tell us about the beers then. So who among local producers do you have there? Because Caldash is distinguishing itself as a bit of an area of craft beer production, isn't it? Who's going to be there from Caldash to the Silver Coast?
We've got, of course, the Bordello boys. You couldn't have a beer festival without those. We've also got Malika, Joao from Malika, making extremely good beer. And you know, from the pub as well. We've got Ansem, James coming down from near Lorignac to come, and he's going to have quite a number of beers and be able to swap them over during the festival. So that will be, and I think we've got everything from a mild to a bitter to an IPA to a, you know. So I think he's got some great beers too. The strong stuff will probably be on the Bordello stand. So if you want a stronger one, head to there. Yeah, and we've also got a selection of Belgian beers
too, aren't they?
Yeah, Belgian beers are coming. We're going to have, I think, over 10 different bottled Belgian beers, and then also we're going to have we've got Cinque Mayo and Hopsin doing a stand together, and they're from obviously near Lisbon down the road.
Fabulous. Tell us about the bands now, then, because you'll both be playing, won't you, Joe?
Yeah, we'll be both be well. It's almost a question of who isn't playing. The only person that this is like my dream lineup, really. The only person I wish I could have booked on this is my dear friend Nelson Rodriguez, who has always been a supporter of Communities Unite. Just a cool dude. But he's booked up both days, so he's the one little piece of the puzzle that is missing. Other than that, I think I've just about got everybody that that I love to work with. So
fantastic. That's a dream.
And we ran some polls on Facebook to see who people wanted to see at our Best of Communities Unite lineup. And Rich, I think we've got everybody that they asked for.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think there was two probably that we didn't get. The Peakles, the Beatles tribute band, they were signed up to do it, but they couldn't do it because the bass player's wife's expecting a baby, so they don't want to be too far away from Lisbon. So that's of course fair enough. You know, life comes first. And as Joe said, Nelson. But apart from that, you've got the Bluesberries, Wildflowers, the Booze Brothers, Brazza Duo. You've got Rick Gonzalez, Alan, lots of individual acts as well. So,
Brandy,
I mean, Jess, got Jess as well.
Brazza Duo, great Brazilian music. So basically the idea is that in the morning and in the evening is going to be a small acoustic stage, kind of a singer-songwriter feel.
Yep.
And that'll all be going on inside the gymnasium. And then from about, 3 to 7 in the afternoon is we open up the outdoor stage. That's the Communities Unite stage, where we've got the full-on rock bands, the Vintage Vinyls and the Bluesberries and these bands, Wildflowers and everybody. So, we're definitely creating two like completely different vibes. You know, the vibe inside, it's going to be music you can talk over, and a lot of seating and tables, and trying to create a nice beer fest atmosphere, a place where people want to sit and talk to each other, want to talk about the beers. And then the outdoors will be, what you've come to know and expect from Communities Unite.
Wonderful. Something for. I mean, that's the message I'm getting here. There's something for everybody to enjoy this Friday.
That's what we're trying for.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, and in the evenings, probably starting after, let's say 9 or 10 or so, we're going to switch to a bit more of a Portuguese vibe. We'll have DJ Stray Cat. And we'll have Brandy, who does stuff in Portuguese. We'll have Brazza Duo, who's singing Portuguese. So the idea is that when the expat crowd or whoever comes at the afternoon to see, but as we know of working in Portugal, the Portuguese really like to come late. They don't like to come before 11. So we are trying to cater to that vibe as well. I don't know how we're going to be looking after.
Superb. Richard, how are you making a thumbs up appear on your screen like that?
I've got absolutely no idea. I'm not even touching my phone.
Well done.
It's probably everything that's coming out of me from Lisbon and the weekend, and it's just doing it on its own. It should really be like this. I'm not sure about this, but I think maybe my wife's just gone on air and put a thumbs up over my face or something, so just to make me look.
Oh, it'll be AI. Just blame it on AI. Well,
Carl, sorry to interrupt, but just a little word as well about our sort of rationale about Communities Unite involved with this as well, was because of course they are two different things. But Communities Unite runs on the first Sunday of every month, and we just thought about doing the whole thing over 3 days, and we thought that would be a step too far for everybody to commit for 3 days running at a beer festival. So we made it the 2, but then have kept the Communities Unite bit in the outer building, which most people will know. There's a large building. The sides can go up, so it can be open air in the afternoons, and it can be closed up in the evenings or in bad weather. And then what we wanted to do, of course, is the Communities Unite people and treat the bands fairly still. So the idea was that although we won't be doing the churrascaria on this one, what we will be doing is the entrance fees from those on those days will go to pay the Communities Unite bands as well. Fantastic. And we will select some other a charity or charities to make donations to, as we always do. So so that's still there. That's still very much there and still very much part of what we do.
I think anyone who knows anything about music or is a musician will really appreciate that. What you see on your screen is not a couple of breadheads who are exploiting everybody for to line their own pockets and run off to Well, you are going to be running off to the Far East soon, Joe, mate. That's another matter we'll talk about in a moment. But this is not about, as you said before, this is not about the money, is it? This is about creating a great time for people, and it has to wash its face somehow. And musicians should be paid, quite rightly, and they will be. And the idea, of course, is to get it financially sustainable, so we can have another one hopefully next year.
That's exactly what we're trying to do. That's our biggest goal.
Dead on, and I think it should also. We should really ought to stress this, that the food vendors and the beer vendors are only paying €50 to be on site, and that's including power, which we're all going to put in. That's going to be over the next few days. And all the arts and crafts people are exhibiting for free. There'll be no charge for them whatsoever.
How wonderful.
And it should be said, if anybody wants to come along and exhibit some art or Christmas bits and pieces, all they've got to do is show up at 11 o'clock on Friday morning, and we'll get them a little table. Well, hopefully they'll bring their own table and set up. Right. We'll give them space in the room.
So with all this, with so much going on, a bit of Christmas shopping, lots of lovely food, so many beers, and an amazing lineup of music, you're going to be thinking to yourself, well, that's got to be €99 for the weekend, isn't it? You know, Glastonbury sort of prices. How much is it going to cost people to get in?
300 each.
He's joking, everybody.
No, it's got a 3 in it anyway, but there's no zeros. So it's €3. That's it.
What? Okay, €3 in. All right, amazing.
And you get a wristband too. It's
what?
Amazing.
Okay, €3 entry then for all of that. That is absolutely incredible. Communities Unite. I think our mate Nunu Mendes from Winsurance, he's involved with that as well. Is he going to be there this weekend?
Yeah, he's going to be there, and they'll be represented. It's a good point as well, though, Carl, is we are still looking for sponsors to help us out. So if there is anybody out there, no matter how small, would like to put them out in and have a sign up or whatever they want to do, attend the show, they'll obviously be able to do all of that. Yeah. We'd love some more support with sponsors if we could possibly get them.
Yeah, well, I was asking the question earlier this morning about which political party supports the needs, aspirations, and so on of expat, foreigner, immigrant community in this country. Sounds like a music party. Sounds like a Communities Unite party. might be the way forward here. And it is a serious request here. If you are a sponsor, if you're a company or a benefactor that wants to see this work, because
and wants to see it be sustainable and wants to see it come back, because I mean, obviously, if we do lose our shirts on this one, it's going to be a lot harder to want to conceptualize doing it again.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. It's a great opportunity to support a true community initiative that's uniting local people and foreigners on the Silver Coast, and just basically fostering understanding, connection, all under the umbrella of music, food, and beer. What could be better than that? I want to talk to you both about your individual contributions to music, the music scene locally. Richard, you appear in a number of bands, don't you? Tell us about the bands that you appear in.
Yeah, I'm in far less than Joe's in. That's a fact. But I've got two bands. One is the Booze Brothers, which I think we've spoke about before. Started as a one-off New Year's party here at the house, and has ended up playing in Lisbon and all over the place, which I enjoy and love very, very much. But that's a 7-piece band. And then more recently, I've been involved with Joe directly, actually, Sven and Alain, that wonderful French guitarist, in a band called the Four Horsemen. We bring the apocalypse to any party.
In a good way.
And we've had quite a few bookings now, and we're a fun band, and I love that very, very much. I have to say, I think all the guys do, and we have a good laugh with it, and I think that's what it's all about. So yeah, having great fun at the minute, and getting lots of gigs. So that's lovely.
That's a party band then. So I mean, let's face it, a lot of the foreigners, expats, immigrants over here on the Silver Coast are from time to time celebrating a notable birthday. So if they want to do that with a full-on party band, you're the guys to hire for that one, aren't you?
100% we are.
We get them dancing.
100%.
A party to remember. Okay.
Oh yeah, you'll definitely remember it. Yeah, we'll bring you a party apocalypse.
Brilliant. And you, Joe, we've got Natasha down. Her name is on the screen there. You're, of course, of the Wildflowers.
That's
We've
right.
played some music on the show here. We were delighted to debut the most recent single, which we
absolutely. You've always been good supporters, and we appreciate that.
Keep them coming. Keep them coming.
Before, we're about to embark on our third tour in what, 1 year, 2 years as a band. As our third tour.
Good morning, Natasha.
Good morning. I'm
Natasha, stop hiding around the corner and get on the screen.
By the way, Carl, we need to get Natasha on here because she is our chief of games department for the for the beer festival. So she's got a million different game ideas coming up, a chili eating contest and all kinds of stuff.
Just got home from the UK yesterday, so I'm on grandmother duty. I'm not quite in. I don't think want any of those games.
They sound interchangeable to me.
Maybe could be suitable. Yeah.
So is there a games area then?
I love a pass the parcel with forfeits. So each layer is going to reveal an interesting forfeit that might be linked to another one.
This weekend?
Yes.
Wow, so there's a games area as well where people can drink beer and play party games. What could possibly go wrong?
Exactly.
I was thinking it would be fun to do some beer drinking games. I've just been talking to my nephew who's been doing rugby initiation. I don't think that's a good idea. The beer's to be respected on this occasion. It's going to be tasty beer. So no, it'll be
very good. Is that Saturday afternoon? Is that Saturday afternoon or both days?
Both days.
Both days. Hopefully we'll have a quiz both days. We're going to do a meet the brewers so we can learn a little bit about their the different beers, and then have a blind taste every day and a vote for your favorite.
Superb.
And this is a good time to ask Carl what exactly his participation is going to be over the weekend.
Drinking beer at the very least.
At the very least. Are you interested in helping with the interview the brewers in a Meet the Brewers kind of segment?
You know I am. So I'll see
you. You are.
Good, I can tick that one off the list.
Now tell us about the tour then. You said the third in a year. The band came together fairly recently, right? And you've been on three, one notably in the UK. The next one's in the Forest. And did you tour Portugal as well?
We did. We toured the Algarve, about 7 shows down there, which was a surprising success. Here we go off to Southeast Asia, off to Thailand and Cambodia and Vietnam. We've got, I think, 9 confirmed shows. We're playing in Bangkok. We're playing with a band called Yellow Fang, who is #1 on Thai radio, and they're a female empowerment band, so that's exciting.
And we're opening the Phnom Khoi Phang Rock Festival.
Yep.
I mean, opening obviously means they don't know who the hell we are, so they're putting us on first, but it sounds good, doesn't it?
Wonderful, absolutely brilliant. We've got some comments coming in. The Communities Unite barbecue event I attended this past summer was a great time. That's from James in Eddie Sarah. Hit that like button, folks. And Pete Wilton Davies is here. He organised a fantastic beer festival that I went to earlier on this year. That was lovely at Castanera de Pera. As a fellow beer event organizer, it sounds like it's going to be a great event. I am currently looking for some overnight accommodation nearby. So see you there, Pete, over the weekend. That's great news. Yeah, accommodation. Now, there's the thing. There's Pete coming from outside of the Silver Coast. Where can you stay? Would Obidos be a great place to stay for this weekend?
Yeah, lots of places to stay in Obidos now. Far more hotels than there was. So it's really grown and expanded since COVID, to be honest with you. Right. There's also Caldash, which is a short taxi ride away. There are some
and there's small... Rich's house.
It's my house. Well. My house too. Yeah. Our houses. Come and sleep. We won't take anybody in. It'll be fine.
It does.
Or a mattress.
That's what the house martins used to do, isn't it? at the end of the gigs, of their gigs, the house martins would say, "Can we stay at someone's house now, please?" And I think that used to work pretty well. The other great idea from, I think it's AC/DC, is they used to charter a jumbo jet, didn't they, to put all their fans on and fly around the world to different gigs.
So we're planning on that for the next beer festival.
Yeah,
that's what I was going to ask you.
Budget, but we're hoping to have a jumbo jet that flies from Caldas and back.
Very good. And what about for the Southeast Asia tour? I mean, can people come with you on that as well if they fancy?
Yeah, well, people can certainly meet us there. We've already heard from a couple people who are like, wow, I was kind of planning on being in Thailand at that time. I said, well, dude, come to the shows. Let's go.
Well, good luck with that tour. Looking forward to seeing you at the weekend. Thank you all so much for putting this on, because the amount of effort required. Just a regular Communities Unite event is immense. I know that. And then to scale it up like this into a 2-day beer festival with all the traders, the creatives coming along and selling their Christmas stuff, the food, the beer. This is an extraordinary event, and we want people to support it. And it's only €3 entry, and the bands are getting paid as well. So fantastic, exemplary event for musicians, for music on the Silver Coast, and for uniting communities as well. Well done, all of you. We'll see you at the weekend.
Thank you ever so much, and thanks for your support.
Take care. Cheers. And bye for now. See you there. Ciao, ciao. Now, I hate to do this. I just got to press the button and get rid of people off the screen. I'm so sorry to do that. There's no nice way of doing that. And I'm going to have a little bit of a palate cleanse now with some sustainable energy news that we touched upon yesterday. Isn't that amazing? So yeah, just one more time, folks, please be there. Mac and Alan present. You saw them on the screen there, Joe Mac and Richard Allen, Silver Coast Beer Festival, just €3 for both days, 1st and 2nd of December, which will be this Friday and Saturday. And I'll be there, looking forward to seeing you up there. Oh, Natasha, look, Jogosh, that's what that is referring to, the games there. Natasha will be overseeing those. And DJ Stray Cat will be spinning a few tunes as well during the events, and I'm sure to climax the event on the Saturday night as well. Excellent stuff. Right, that news from yesterday then, where it was said, and we need to look into this, because it was said that that there was a moment or a few days for the Portuguese people, for people in Portugal, where sustainable energy took over, and that meant that there wouldn't be any energy bills to pay for a few days. Now, we realized that probably wasn't going to be trickling down, as it were, to us at this level. So I want to read this again for you and find out what that actually does mean. And now this was sent to me by Coach Turner, who spotted it over there in the UK, I believe, which is great, and sent it on to me from the Good News Network. And he sent it to me on that basis, that it was nice to see a bit of good news in the papers, and certainly about sustainable energy here. So let's have a look at this. Portugal runs on 100% renewables, dropping consumer electric bills to nearly zero for 6 days in a row. Dropping consumer electric bills to nearly zero. Is that going to be trickling down to us? Let's find out as we read more about it on the Good News Network. And this was put together by Andy Corbley on November the 20th, over a week ago. Sunny, windy, wavy, and small, Portugal is uniquely suited to renewable energy, which it just proved by powering the nation of 10 million entirely with the forces of nature for 6 straight days. So there we go. Wind power and solar, presumably mainly. There must be a little bit of tidal power here in Portugal, but I'm sure they were leading on that in terms of energy generation, solar and wind power. It all started on Friday, the 27th of October, when the largest energy company in the nation, Redes Energéticas Nacionais, reported that conditions of wind and waves, okay, so wave power, yes, were generating the entirety of the nation's energy supply. Having travelled up and down the coast here in Portugal, I don't think I have seen a wave farm, if that's indeed what they're called. But there you go. They exist, and they are partly responsible for this phenomenon. They predicted the conditions would carry on through Saturday from the 27th of October, this was, but they actually kept on going for the next 5 days, including some periods when the nation's grid was exporting renewable electricity to the grids in Spain. In total, there were 149 hours of total renewables generation, 95 of which saw the Portuguese grid exporting to Spain, a run that broke the previous record for consecutive days of 100% renewable use. While solar power is often seen as the most important renewable electricity source, the record began and carried on for many days in rainy, windy weather. That's because, according to Canary Media, many turbines were built in the 1990s when solar panel installations were not cost effective. Even before that, many hydroelectric dams had been built after the fall of Portugal's dictatorship in 1974. There's more news like this over at goodnewsnetwork.org. This is important since the country's sunny days tend to be windless and the windy days tend to be cloudy. The next step, a reporter in the energy sector said, is going to be the development of deep water offshore wind farms. Wow, they sound like a terrifying place where you could film a zombie apocalypse movie, but I'm sure they're all good. But imagine being stranded on one of those bad boys, a deep water offshore wind farm. So I imagine that's a combination. It could be a combination of all three, couldn't it? A bit of solar out there on the seas, and some wave power and some wind power as well. Glad to know more about that if you've got any leads on that, and we'll keep an eye on that. Tonight, of course, at 8:30, we'll be talking about political parties, the best which we may want to connect with as expats, foreigners and immigrants, and keep an eye on the political situation here. General election coming up, of course, on March the 10th of next year. It's going to be a big year. Carnation Revolution, 50th anniversary, and an election, and Portugal in the Euros. Let's see what's going on over in the chat. I think it's all dried up over there in the chat. Nice to see you, Pete. And I forgot to do the dad joke, the music-related dad joke with our musicians who are with us just now. I think I'll finish today on a few more news stories then. Let's go and have a look over at the Portugal Resident front page and see what takes our fancy over there. And we're looking at, I've got to write me an article for the Portugal Resident today. Last week's was fabulous. A centre page spread with that wine event from Covella at the Storytellers. That's still on the newsstands. And looking at the Portugal Residents homepage now, let's scan a few of the headlines and see what's what over here. Owen joining us on Thursday morning with some great news connected to his poetry. And tomorrow's guest yet to be decided. If you want to join me on the Good Morning Portugal tomorrow, because it's one of those strange fifth Wednesday moments when we don't have a scheduled guest. If you've got an idea for the show tomorrow, or if you'd like to join me on screen, or you'd like me to approach somebody who you think should be on the screen, do so. Send me a message, 913-590-303. Hit that like button, folks, is what Antonio F is saying. And looking at the Portugal Resident front page now, numbers in Portugal at risk of poverty rose to 17% in 2022. Also, Legionella detected at Algesur school showers. TAP justifies nightmare flight with unexpected worsening of weather conditions. That sounds terrifying, doesn't it? Albufeira announces year-round beach supervision. Former PS mayors to face trial for corruption, and Portugal in the dock over climate failings. Is that the young people who've taken around the world who have taken their governments to their respective high courts? Hundreds of unfilled vacancies, I should say, for medical internships in Portugal's State Health Service, a red card for the government. And briefly then, authorities swoop on suspected nationality scam, run out of Portuguese embassy in Brazil. My goodness. Protection for 400, I beg your pardon, not 40, 400 critical infrastructures in Portugal, and millions of doses of drugs seized, 345 arrested. That's a big drug bust, is it not? Okay, that's your front page of the Portugal Resident. I think we'll take a look at the Portugal news now. And if there's anything that's attracted your interest, do let me know. And we'll take a look at that too this morning here on the Good Morning Portugal show. Grateful thanks to Joe Mack and Richard Allen from Communities Unite and the Beer Festival that's coming up this weekend. Don't forget, just €3 to get into that event over the weekend. Let's have a look then at the Portugal news front page right now. Tax deduction for rent increases. Some help there. It would appear to help with the cost of living. Wealthy Spaniards fleeing to Portugal. I might have a look at that in just a moment. Portugal weekend weather forecast. We should do that too to see how it's looking for the beer festival this weekend. Max Verstappen, motor racing enthusiast, might be interested to know that Max Verstappen is in the Algarve, and Lisbon chosen as European capital of innovation. Portugal, 7th safest country in the world. New poll out, and Portugal's real estate hits all-time high with record summer surge in foreign investment. Music to Bobby O'Reilly's ears, I'm sure. Let's have a look at this then. Why the wealthy Spaniards are fleeing to Portugal. Wealthy Spaniards are increasingly looking to move to Portugal after the neighbouring country's constitutional court approved the application of a tax on large fortunes, reports El Economista over there in Spain. The escape to the Portuguese side of the border over here on the Iberian Peninsula also follows the retreat regarding the elimination of the special IRS regime for non-habitual residents, the RNH, which the Socialist Party wants to extend for another year. It was on November the 7th that the Spanish Constitutional Court gave the green light to the tax on large fortunes, which is levied on assets exceeding 3 million euros, with exemptions for the first 700,000 euros. The Spanish newspaper reports that this measure, along with the recent inauguration of Pedro Sanchez as president of the government of Spain, with the support of nationalist and independent parties, immediately led to an increase in calls to law firms, not just from Spaniards, as well as foreigners residing in the country, to accelerate a change of tax residence to Portugal. Very interesting. Wow. Concerned about the current political situation and the tax burden in Spain, which they consider disproportionate compared to other countries, the clients of Hector Perez Tapia, partner and director of the tax area at Celia Abogados, have a stronger intention of changing their effective residence and not having just exploratory consultations. So it looks like wealthy Spaniards and those living in Spain are seeking refuge in Portugal. And I wonder for how long it will remain the case that it will be more advantageous for them on this side of Iberia. Let's remove that for a moment and return to the Portugal news in just a moment. A couple of comments for you. The Communities Unite barbecue I went to this summer, was great, says James. I saw you there, didn't I, James? And Bairrandi. Hola, Malta. Back from a bit of damp bushwhacking in Bairrada. Got any video? Good morning to you, Bairrandi. And I'm sure you'll have a few highlights for us, what's coming up this weekend. Well, let's have a look at that weather then to see what's going on around the country for the beer festival and the many events that I'm sure Bairrandi will share with us this coming Friday, and that are also placed on the Gumper map. You'll be proud of me, Andy. I put the beer festival on the Gumper map just yesterday, in fact, so that people can find it up there. Just outside Obidos, if you want to be going to that. Let's have a look at this weather then. Was that the Portugal news? Oh, yes, the weekend weather forecast. Let's have a look now at that then. And clicking through to tell you what's going on. Will it be cold this weekend? Hopefully not, but you can dance at the beer festival to keep warm. Lisbon, the rain showers are to ease off for the weekend in the capital with sunny spells and highs of 16. How lovely. And nightly lows of 9 degrees. From Monday, intermittent sunshine and showers are predicted with highs of 15 degrees and lows of 7. The mixed weather is to continue throughout this week. In the north, then, it is to be dry on Saturday with only a slight chance of rain, highs of 13 degrees and cold nights dropping to just 2. On Sunday, some showers are forecast to return with highs of 13 degrees and lows of 3 degrees. The wet weather is to continue, and the following week, we'll have the heaviest of showers starting on Monday. In the centre then, central Portugal, Silver Coast, how's it going to look for the beer festival this weekend? The break in the wet weather is to continue on Friday and Saturday. Yay! With average highs of 12 degrees and lows of 3 degrees. On Sunday, some rain showers are expected and are set to continue into Monday, when highs of 12 degrees and nightly lows of 4 degrees are forecast. In the south, following the rain earlier in the week, the south is to be dry over the weekend with hazy high cloud and maximum temperatures of 17. Isn't that amazing for November going into December? 17 degrees in the Algarve. From Monday, some cloud cover is expected with highs of 17 degrees and lows of 8 degrees. There will be a chance of rain from Tuesday, but it will remain mild. Madeira then, let's go out to the islands, the autonomous regions in Madeira. The weather this weekend, the rain is to ease slightly on Friday and to stop on Saturday and Sunday, when highs of 23 and lows of 18 degrees are forecast over there in Madeira. Oh, Coach Turner, to be in Madeira again. Lucky you, Aviva. The mild weather is to continue the following week with a chance of rain again on Wednesday. The Açores, from where Philomena just returned after a mainly dry day on Friday. The rain clouds are to return on Saturday, with grey skies and highs of 19 degrees. On Sunday and Monday, intermittent sunny spells and rain is forecast with highs of 19 degrees and lows of 15. Pretty nice too, pretty mild over there in the Azores. Okay, finishing off for today then. We might have an early finish today. Partly sunny, apparently, in Caldash, 16 degrees right now. In the studio, we're looking at 17 degrees with 16, nearly 17 outside, the weather probe is telling us in the back passage. Okay, let's just finish with one more news story then from the Portugal News. I'll go back to their front page and see what's going on over there. Of course, people are still trying to beat the NHR deadline, and we'll get further clarification tomorrow, of course. 29th, that budget will be looked at in the Parliament tomorrow, and we'll have a clearer idea of what's going on, and we'll have more talk with Gilda and Daniel from Resin Pelicano on that situation as it unfolds and gets clarified, hopefully tomorrow, the 29th of November, the budget situation and what the consequences are for that with the NHR, and will it be extended, kind of, for those at least who showed an interest in 2023 into 2024. Let's have a look at how much employees earn in Portugal. This is always an interesting subject, and I imagine there'll be another rise that will be addressed, of course, in the budget tomorrow in the minimum wage. Let's see how much people are earning in Portugal right now. How much do employees earn in Portugal is the name of this article in the Portugal News from TPN, and it was published just 18 hours ago. In 2021, the median value of the monthly earnings of full-time employees, which is abbreviated to TCO, don't know why, with full remuneration was €959.34, with only 29% of TCOs recording monthly earnings values higher than the average value of 1,000, nearly just under €1,290. According to data from the National Statistics Institute, the INE, based on the personnel tables, the Institute concludes that in 2021, in 285 of the 308 municipalities, the median value of the monthly earnings did not exceed €1,000, varying between €760.4 in the municipalities of Gavião and Belmont and €1,781 and 36 cents in Castro Verde. The median value of monthly earnings was lower for female TCOs compared to males. Only in the municipalities of Eiras, Lisbon, Porto, and Campo Maior did the median value of women's earnings exceed €1,000 per month. I.e., that is only in these 4 municipalities did 50% of those TCOs that operated there have monthly earnings higher than that reference, read the INE bulletin. Are there any comments here? No comments yet. Average salary up in earlier news. Average salary up to 1,438 here in Portugal. That was reported on the 20th of November. And the minimum wage up by 7.9% in related news here in 2024. Whether or not that is approved or is just an aspiration is so difficult to tell the difference sometimes between what is a government proposal and actually what's been ratified. That said, Costa guarantees a wage increase for 2024. Let's see if that actually happens, and there'll be indications on that tomorrow when the budget is examined in the Parliament. Okay, thank you for being here this morning. Thank you to Joe Mack, thank you to Richard Allen, and thank you to all those Gumpers who are here today. Let's finish with those dad jokes then, and I'm apologising again for not showing these with the musicians who were with us on screen earlier on. A coach carrying jazz musicians has overturned on the A8. Expect lengthy jams. And I went to the library, says T-Duck, and checked out a book about oils and lubricants. It was in the non-friction section. Very good. And I had a job selling beverages at a hotel. And then I got arrested for insider trading. Excellent. We'll see you tomorrow with an as yet undisclosed guest or topic. Have a great day. Take care and bye for now.
Bom dia, Portugal! In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP. yes, we'll do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, Gumpers.